Well, hello my friends and welcome to Siggy Air. Today we are in my favorite airport here in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We are at the Isla Grande Airport. Well, people know it as Isla Grande. It got renamed in 1986 to Luis Rivas Dominici. We know this airport as Isla Grande Airport. Alright, so we are in the P28. This is the Arrow III, the turbo version. We have the 750 as our GPS unit, the Garmin NXI. And we are going to fly a quick flight to Culebra. It's gonna be, I'm just gonna show you because today it's we have usually in San Juan in Puerto Rico, we get these dust from the Sahara starting in the summer, and throughout the summer we get them periodically. And I remember as a kid, the dust from the Sahara was always kind of a combined with the heat sometimes in the summer was really made it a really uncomfortable time to be there. But I just want to show you how it looks when you fly over in San Juan in Puerto Rico, and we're taking off from this airport from the parking spot where my uncle used to park his one of his planes, and he used to have a helicopter. If you've seen my channel, you've heard me talk about my experience with my uncle there in his aviation business there. He had a couple of helicopters and 2 planes, and he used to do a lot of commercials in back in the days, a lot of commercials about rum, and so he was famous for doing that, and he was well known as a pilot for his commercials. He had a special commercial where there was a small sailboat where the people were drinking rum, and it was a particular day where there was no wind. So what he did is he came over the helicopter and flew around it, and then the thrust from the helicopter propelled the sailboat, and then they made a really great commercial from that. Shows that the sailboat was really going really fast, and he was just following along and pushing the sailboat with the thrust of the helicopter. It was pretty cool. Anyway, I digress. So we are going to fly into Culebra. We got a pretty stiff wind here coming from the northeast, so it'll be interesting taking off. Not so much taking off, but landing in Culebra will be challenging as always. So all right, so let's go ahead and take off from runway 9 here. This is a Payware airport, and it's from Photo Rico Designs, and you can pick this up. I'm in the marketplace. I think I got it from Orbs Central. So it was pretty good money. I think I paid $8 for it or something like that. It was a while ago, but it's a really cool design, very well recreated here. Hangars and the runway and the taxiways are well done by Photo Rico Designs. I don't think we seen so many of the types of airplanes that I see here. There are a couple that are too big for this airport, but anyway, and I really like this aircraft. This is from Just Flight, and you get a bundle from it. If you buy the bundle, I think it's $42. But you get the Arrow 3 and the Arrow 4, and both the aspirated and the turbo versions here. All right, so yeah, you can see the haze from the Sahara dust here, and it will be even more pronounced as we fly over the city. And you can tell that these are the Sahara dust, and the difference between this and just regular fog is that we got pretty hefty wind here. We got about 12 knots from the northeast, like I said, and if you had fog, you really wouldn't have fog with the type of wind that we're getting right now. Usually you don't get fog in San Juan because there's always a breeze blowing either from the northeast. So yeah, so we got the you can see the haze from the Sahara dust. Everything gets really dusty, and some people have issues with allergies and things like that. I never had any issues there, but it was quite uncomfortable, you know, especially if there was no breeze and it was hot. So yeah, you wanted to stay inside during those days. All right, so when I flew with my uncle here into Culebra, what we did, usually we took off from runway 9 over here, and then what you have to do, and you know, most of the time, and what we did is when we flew over the international airport here, Luis Muñoz Marin, we just came over we hugged the coast here, and then we took a right and crossed parallel to both of the runways there at Luis Muñoz Marin, so not to get in the way of the air traffic there, departing and arriving traffic from Luis Muñoz Marin. So we would hug the coast here, and then as soon as we got within half a mile of the airport, we would just take a right crossover, and then a left, and then a heading of 110 into Culebra. Alright, so here we are at the easternmost point of the island of Puerto Rico. So this is in Fajardo, the town of Fajardo. Right in front of us we can see the Hotel El Conquistador, which is on a hill overlooking the islands of Culebra and Vieques, and some of the smaller islands there, Palomino, Palominitos, Icacos is to your left. So what we did usually as a VFR, make sure that we hit that point and then follow those islands to you can see them on the left here. There's a road of islands there, starting with Icacos, and then there's Isla de Lobos, and then there are a couple of other smaller islands there. And then that will just bring you right into Culebra, right into Flamingo Bay Beach in Culebra, and then we would just go ahead and make the approach over you'll see when we get there. So, but that's how we flew the VFR, fly over into Culebra, especially if there was no poor visibility or anything like that. We just made sure that we hit those points there. All right, so once we are once we get to approach altitude here, about 1,000 feet, just right before we hit that point there in Culebra, and make sure we are 1,000 feet, and we start our final descent into Flamingo Bay, which is over that little hill over there. And so we want to be at between 500 and 700 feet per minute, here in our descent. We want to make sure that we are just below 100 knots, no more than that, just to make sure that our approach is stabilized once we hit Flamingo Bay. And that's when we start thinking about a set of flaps here, depending on our speed. So usually I would go ahead and hit those flaps there and bring down the gear if we had one around this point here, just to make sure that we're stabilized here. This is it's Flamingo Bay, and if you haven't been in Puerto Rico in Culebra, you're missing something here, because this is one of the most beautiful beaches in the Caribbean. This is one of the most beautiful beaches in the Caribbean. I think it's rated top 10. 500. So we get a little bit of turbulence here once over the. I think that in Microsoft Flight Simulator it's a bit exaggerated. We never got the amount of turbulence that we get in Flight Simulator here. Alright, at this point we're fully configured, and we will just want to cross those between those two hills there. And it's pretty cool when you go in there and then you just have to drop. You just bring down your power, let the aircraft nose drop, and then you just align into that runway. So one thing that never happened to us is that we never run out of fuel during this approach. And like it just happened here. Don't sink. All right, so that's fine. I have to sink because I run out of fuel. I'm sorry. So we this is it shouldn't be a problem here, and actually it may help us here to make a landing here. And yeah, let me get a little bit of a crosswind here, but that's not too bad. It just way off the center line, but hey, we run out of fuel and we made it. So any landing in Culebra, really, it's a good landing. And they'll probably have to tow us into the parking spot here, because we're not going to have enough power to get there. So let's see if we can do that. And yeah, I don't think I think we're gonna have to call in the tow guys here to bring us in. By the way, this is a Culebra airport. You can get it at flightsim.to. They have a couple of them in there, but this is nicely done and recreated here. Good job over there. I can't remember who the developer is, but you can get it at flightsim.to. Anyway, my friends, thank you for flying Sigi Air. Remember, Sigi Air will get you there. Sigi Air is best in the air, and my friends, I don't make this stuff up. I'm only told what to say. We'll see you on the next one.